This is my 1999 Chrysler Sebring 2.5. We just started it up there and I wanted to show you what we're doing tonight. I've done a lot of alternators and pulleys and serpentine belts on these vehicles, but this 2.5, and right down there, you see that pulley. You see a little, see that belt there? If you listen, you can kind of hear that. Sometimes it's worse than other times. Right about there. The way I verified it was, I just grabbed one of these and stick it on your ears, stick it down in there, and you kind of touch around, you can hear the noise. Or if you don't have one of these guys here, you can just use a rubber hose like this, stick it down there, put the other end up to your ear and listen for that noise, and that's how you can pretty much determine where it's coming from. But nevertheless, I've got to somehow get that little pulley off down there. And you can see right there is what we're trying to get at, that little pulley right about there. There's the alternator. The crazy thing is, someone put an alternator on here, a new one, before I picked up the vehicle. I'm still trying to figure out if they took the top of the plenum off, or they did it down through here with this cover off. So I'm going to kind of inspect that. Now for this pulley, I'm going to attempt to do it down here. I've got a couple of jacks under here in my main jack. And also, since they got that new alternator on back here, see how shiny it is? One other thing I noticed on this vehicle, which I might do in a separate video, I'm not sure unless I randomly find this issue while doing this video, is I have a 455 code. Yeah, how about that? If you can see that there. A gross leak, no flow whatsoever. Now, I'm thinking maybe somebody, when they put this alternator on here, maybe they broke something back here, did something with one of these hoses or something. I don't know. I may pull the plenum off just to verify everything. If that's not the case on these rusty vehicles, let's go in the back here, grab my light, back here where the gas tank is. The other thing I'm going to do later, and you can do the same thing, is when you put fuel in it, go underneath. It's going to take me a second to get down here on my knees. Hang on, bear with me a second. Here is the back of it, and right here are all the hoses and tubes and so forth that go to the gas tank. Now, if you put gas in it and you see a small leak down here dripping, then you know this is where the problem is. Now, there are a couple of hoses here that are actually sort of a vent. Now, that could be the problem on this vehicle. I don't know, but I'm going to worry about this a little bit later. So, we got an emissions problem, so I'm hoping somewhere up front maybe someone just knocked off a hose or something. But this back here doesn't look too good, so I don't know, we may actually have a problem back here, but we'll deal with that a little bit later. But sometimes that just comes with the territory, especially with these Northeast cars. This one's not that terribly rusty. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. It's a nice little running car, so we'll deal with this a little bit later. We'll get this plastic shield here out of the way and see how much room we have up in here. But like I said, once we figure out how to get that pulley off right there, there's a couple of bolts that bolt it to the block. And that's really all I need to get off of. We're going to have to take the serpentine belt off. And that looks like that might be a little bit of fun. But I think to get that serpentine belt off, there's a bolt right on the top of that right there. I think you can see that right there. That one bolt. Then an adjuster. If I get a socket on there, an extension down there, I think I can loosen that up and then we can get that belt off. But nevertheless, we'll take a few things here off and see what we can get into. Alright, now before we get ready to pull this off, it looks like it's pretty easy to do. It's got a couple bolts on the bottom. It looks like part of it is missing on the bottom, but when I got the vehicle, it had a pretty bad dent here. The fender was crunched in and it needed a headlight. I got a light and I straightened this fender out as best I could right now until I finish it up. I thought originally this evap code would be an easy one to find. I thought, well, it went in here and broke some of these lines, but I checked all these lines because this fender was pushed all the way in. And I don't see anything here that's broken or anything, so I really need to get a smoke machine. My last one quit working, but we'll see what we can do here. But let's go ahead and get this plastic cover off and see what kind of excess we have here. Alright, so we got that one there. I think it's ready to come out. There's three of these. These are 12 millimeter. And we'll see if I'm any good with my hands tonight, laying on my back, trying to talk, hold a camera. All right, there's that. All right. So I don't know if there's anything missing on this or not. Let's just look at the bottom of this real quick and see. Well, there's some holes there. I don't know. There's probably something missing. All right, let's look up under here and see if I'm whining for nothing. You know, being a little drama king or whatever. All right, so there's the AC. Let's see. There's the AC. There's one pulley, and there's the other pulley, and that is a big pulley. Boy, from the top, it didn't look that big. So there are all the bolts. Just maybe I can get this out here. And there's the alternator, and how they put that in there, I still think they pulled the top of the plenum off and dropped it in there. That's the only way you could do it, because there's no room here. Look at that axle. Absolutely no room. Looks like to me you could get that in there. Now, if that bracket off, you could probably shove it up in there like that, but no, there's still not enough room. But, anyway, there's that pulley we got to get off. I'm hoping I can get it off and just change out the bearings. So this is great. This is all I need to do for now, is to figure out how to do this pulley. That one there looks okay. So we got to get this serpentine belt off here. So I think we got to take this belt here off first, the AC belt, and then let's see, adjust the other pulley on top of this, and that should let us take the serpentine belt off. Then we can go ahead and take these 3 bolts there out. So we could probably get a ratcheting wrench up in there and get that out of there. All right, so let me go ahead and get these belts out of the way real quick. So hopefully this video will help you guys out. Hey, let me know where you're watching from right now. Wow, that is a 17 millimeter nut. See if we can break that loose. Boy, they put that on there tight. There's no reason it has to be on that tight. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we need to loosen this up enough. That should be good enough. Now we gotta go up on top, and let me just take you up here on top with me, and we have to, right there, a little guy, right there, we're gonna loosen that up. Now it looks like it's gonna be about a 10, so I'm gonna get a 10. Alright, so that is a 12 millimeter too. I just got done working on my Nissan Xterra. Everything was 12 and 14s. There we go. That should. So just enough to get that loose down there. I think it might be enough right there. Hopefully you guys can see it, but you get the idea here. Sometimes you gotta loosen these way up, because that belt is gonna slide over those grooves in the pulley. Alright, sometimes you gotta hit it, and we'll have to tap that. Put this back together real quick, and there's the nut. I think you can see that. Alright, see if that's enough. Hopefully it's loose enough. Oh yeah, okay, great. Maybe just get off the top one first. There we go. Alright, so that belt looks pretty good, and that pulley is nice and quiet. There's our subject right there. Alright, so we got that off. Now we got to do the same thing here. This does not have a tensioner, it just has an adjuster here for this, so that's good. So we'll go up on top and loosen that. We have to do the same thing here. There's a bolt, or a nut I should say. Let's see where my finger is. Right there. Right there. I think that's probably going to be a 17. Let's just see. Since I got the wrench here. Of course, no. It's going to be probably going to be a 15, so let me grab a 15. Alright, I think you can see that. I'm actually shooting this on my S5. Yeah, I'm cheap. I find it's a lot easier sometimes. I can just kind of hold it there and give you a nice clean shot. That's actually a 14mm nut, so let's go ahead and see if we can get this off here without busting anything here. Oh, gee, well, I'll have to use both hands on this one maybe. All right, let's try this again. Get this one here just right. There we go. All right. Oh, holy cow. Well, we got it. Anyway, it's a little... See that there? All right. I tell you what, these ratcheting wrenches have been a lifesaver. All right, so that's loose there. So now we gotta go back on top and put an extension down there and loosen that adjuster up. All right, we're back up on top. There we go. All right, so let's adjust this thing as far back as it'll go, and hopefully this will allow us to slip that serpentine belt off of everything. All right, so there's that. Let's see if we got this. I'll grab my light. See what we got here. Oh yeah, belt's nice and loose now. And kind of make a mental note of how that belt goes on there. And all that. And you can see, you can't see the top of it there, but it does go up around here on that pulley. And back around that. And up on top. Let me go back up on top here real quick. This way I'll have a mental note myself. And it comes back up. Let's see. It goes around that pulley, comes up here. And that's it. Wow, okay. Kind of a short belt. It comes up here on the power steering. And that's it. And drops back down behind the alternator. So there's usually a diagram on the hood here, but this one did not come with one. So, yep. Sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this belt off. I just slipped the belt off the top of this pulley. It'll come right across the top of it. And just let it hang down like this. That way it stays on the alternator. And also the power steering, you won't have to worry about that. And now all we have to do is take off these 3 long bolts. And I do believe that whole thing comes off. If that does, that has made my night. I was worried about this for last week. You can see here, hear it, and you can move it. Look at that. Definitely squawking a little bit, so let's go ahead and see if we can get this off here. See, I think these are going to be 12mm. Let's check these out. Alright, so these 3 bolts are 12mm. I'm hoping I have enough strength in my hands here to break this one loose. We'll get the 2 on the bottom first and see if we can... There's one on top there, but we can get that last. Alright, there goes nothing. Oh, man, I think we got it. Yay! All right. And the other reason is I'm still may have to take the plenum off. You see all this oil? I've got a really bad valve pan. Actually, I should say valve cover oil leak. All right, so that's... I don't think I have to pull that all the way out, but the problem is I can't get it out anyway, so that may be out far enough to drop this bracket off. Now let's go ahead and get this top one here off. Hopefully I can get that in there. It's going to be a little tight. You know what I should do? I should just go ahead and screw this one back in for now with my fingers and get to the top one, since you got that fender there kind of holding me up there because there's not a lot of room. All right, let's break this one loose. Oh, there we go. All right, good. All right, so I think we might actually get all this out in one piece. Get it out far enough, I'll just twist it out with my fingers. Yeah. Alright, just about out. Oh, come on, baby. Alright, that's out. Hear that? It's hitting the back of that fender. right there. Let's go ahead and get this one here. I'm hoping this will just fall right out. Boy, if it does, it'll make my night, and hopefully yours too, because I hear from what I just saw online, a lot of people have trouble with this big pulley here. And, all right. Oh, there we go. Hey, it's moving. Yay. $2.5 1999 Sebring LXI. Guess what, folks? It came right out. Yay! All right. I like it when a plan comes together. All right, get my bolt here. There's that one. And maybe you can put the alternator in right here. Well, I mean, nah, there's no way. I mean, there's almost room here. But I think if you take this bracket off here and the alternator off, you might be able to fish it up. But I still think you probably have to go up through the top of the engine there. I just don't know right now. But what I'm going to do later, if I pull the plenum off and try to fix that leak, I may actually see if there's a way to get that alternator off, just to let you guys know in the future. All right, just to give you a little update here. There are different size bolts in this, just so you know. The really two long ones go on one side, and you have a short one that goes on this side. And you can see they're the same length as they come out, so you might want to keep that in mind. And there's our pulley, and check this out. She's bad. Now I might be able to put another bearing in there myself. I'm going to see what kind of bearings I have tomorrow. All I have to do is take this nut off from the back here. Let's go ahead and take that off. This off from the back. This pulley is a lot bigger than I thought it was. It didn't look that big on the other side, and there it is. Sounds like a bell, but it's definitely shot. So I think, oh, there's a nut on this side too. So actually you gotta hold this, unscrew that nut, and this whole piece comes out, and this is your bearing there. So let's go ahead and just take that off, I guess. Well, that didn't work. Actually, I had to bolt this back on this bracket because there's no way I could hold the back of that. And I had a socket here at a 17 mil, and I just didn't have no way to hold this piece to keep it from turning. So I went and got me a socket here. You can probably figure out a way to do it. This is 11/16, and we're just going to use this impact tool here. This will probably make me look kind of funny here. There we go. I just didn't have any way to get leverage in here tonight. All right, now take this off. Let's see, we've got the nut, and is there a washer? Nope, no washer, and that's it. And that's the whole thing. Now there is a little guy back here in the back. I believe that's part of the nut housing. Yeah. Okay, so there's that, and there's that. We just need a bearing, and you can't hear it, but it's definitely shot. So I'll see what I can do tomorrow. I'll tell you one thing, this bearing is pretty large, so I may not have one. I may have to buy the whole assembly. That's just the way it is nowadays. If you know how to work with bearings and know where to buy bearings, you can actually press these in and out. But to buy this whole unit, it will probably be twice the price. I'm guessing maybe 25 bucks, but I know I don't have a bearing. But by the time you buy a bearing and stick it in, you could probably just buy the whole thing by the time you spend an hour doing it. So, all right, just in my junk stuff laying around, I wanted to see if I had a bearing that would work, but nope, this is all one big piece. It's pressed in. I need something like this. Even the biggest thing I got here like this is still not as big as this. So this is made together. Looks like this was not made to be able to change this bearing. Unfortunately, I was hoping I'd have something here. I do have other bearings, but I know I don't have a bearing this big. So it looks like we're going to have to buy this whole unit as one and just stick it on that way. All right, welcome back, everyone. It's been about 3 or 4 days. I finally got a pulley. Boy, This was like pulling teeth, I'm telling you. But anyway, let me show you what was going on here. Now, when I tuck the old pulley off, of course, it's right here. This part here is real flat. And you can see how that's made right there. Let me get up in the light. How flat it is on the back side. It's pretty much even with the outside. Well, when you bolt that onto this piece here, get it up in here, you can see that piece right there that sticks out. It keeps it from hitting the back of this this piece here. Now, I went and ordered 2 pulleys, one on eBay and one at my local parts store. This one here is only $17. This one here was way too wide. It's same diameter and everything, but it doesn't fit. Even though it said it does, it doesn't. It just actually fits Stratus, Eclipses, and stuff like that. But you can see the inside here is kind of, beveled in. The outside here is beveled out. So I even pushed this bearing out, thinking maybe it would work. But the way this is set up here, this goes in too far and hits the back piece back here on this side. Right about there. Actually, it goes in there like that and hits that. So that's not going to work. So went to the parts store, finally got one for 55 bucks. Yep, these things are not cheap. Even this one is not exactly like mine, because mine's set like this, flush to the back like that, and this one here is molded on, but actually it's the opposite way, but it is flush in the back. So it's kind of complicated. So when you order these, you may have a little problem getting the right one, because it seems like there's a issue with how they kind of got these set up on which vehicles fit on which vehicles. But nevertheless, this here should work out pretty good. You can see I got the little piece on the back there. I don't even need this piece, I don't believe. I think I have to take this one off, this little nut and bolt right here off, and bolt this on the adjuster, and I should be good. I tried to flip it around in here with this big one, but there's just not enough room. It actually hits part of the engine block. And also, I even pushed this new bearing out of the new one here that I bought on eBay. The thing about this is, you see this is not flanged on the inside right here. So this bearing, you can push it in and push it down any length you want, and it'll still spin. But if I try to put this in my old one here, which I actually pushed the bearing back in, I actually had this one out. There's a lip here. It hits that, and the bearing won't turn. So these little things can cause big issues. So this was only $17, and I can probably just resell it to somebody else. So now I guess we'll go ahead and stick that one on. All right, that's on the back, and I think we're good. Yep, good deal. All right, now before I put this on here, I wanted to show you one other thing. I'm going to make a second video. I have an oil leak, and I think it's my valve pan covers. And I've already ordered the gaskets. And let me just show you real quick. I'm going to do a second video just on this leak I got here. And maybe this will help some of you out. The oil's running back on the back of the engine down. You can see this here is all oil. Some days it's worse than others. But I checked the timing cam seals. They're not leaking. So I know it's coming from the top, and I'm sure it's oil. So I will do a second video on that, and I'll put a link right about there for you guys to watch in the near future. All right, so let's go ahead and get this on. All right, back on, and we got rid of the noise, but now I have just a slight squeak, and I realized that belt, I need to replace it. I know you can't see this, but part of that belt, the side of it, it should have 5 little grooves in it. It has 4. The side of it is actually wore out a little bit. I know you can't see it here. I need to replace that belt, because that belt on that pulley right there, when it comes around, it's wrapped around that pulley, and I can see that belt kind of sliding sideways at times when it rotates around, and that belt is bad, so I need to replace it. That happens a lot on the Chrysler vans, 3.0s to 3.3s. You get that alternator squeak. This is the same thing on this 3.0. If I zoom in, I don't know. Let me set this camera up here. You might be able to see this. Hang on, let me see if I can get a better shot for you guys. Yeah, now see that belt, how it's trying to go sideways, it's slipping on that pulley? That's what that squeaking is. The pulley's okay, but it's time to replace the belt. All right. But other than that, it is done, guys. So I will do a video on this oil leak, let you guys know here what I found and all that. So all we gotta do is put the cover on. I'll order a belt tomorrow. They might have one in stock locally for about $10 or $15, and that'll be about it. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you run into this pulley problem, make sure you get the right one for this V6. This, of course, this is a 99, and the Mitsubishi, the Glunts, and all those, they all take different type of pulleys, but they're pretty much bolted in the same place, and they're not interchangeable from what I have found out. So until my next video, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.